Good morning. Welcome to SSC CGL online course students. I'm happy to introduce again with one more new topic, which is quite fascinating, interesting, and highly scoring. So today I have come out with another topic. As you might have seen my previous video, students, now how I'm trying to simplify, how I'm trying to see that, with the process of elimination techniques, how we are going to sort it out, the questions in an easy manner and easy style. So today I've come out with another topic. Yes, this is Dr. Jayaraj. Today I've come out with a new verb topic, and we'll be going on with the topic now. So what I've thought of you is that today I've just brought out a simple topic, that is the question tag. And before that, I just request everybody to subscribe our ACE online channel so that you can benefit a lot from our courses, students. Like here we go with the topic now. Right, students? So it's a free online test series. You can take it, all those ones now, okay? So wonderful. Now, you can also, the course details have been given here. The syllabus is going to be covered up. All the syllabus is going to be covered up under this practice recorded sessions, okay, right? Both numerical and English verbal skills. Right, students, we'll go with a topic today, that is the question tag. It's very easy and you can easily score easily, right? So therefore, we'll go on with the topic now, the question tag, students. What are these question tags? Why, how you can think of leaving 1 mark or 2 marks, whatever is being asked in the examinations. So these question tags are very simple, students, very simple. So today I'm going to simplify it, and today really I'm going to see that everyone will cut a very good figure in the coming examination. Question tags are used when the speaker expects his listener to confirm the statement, students, like. Just it is to confirm, that's all. Yes or no. Or express his or agreement. I know, but I want confirmation from your side. Right? There are various ways of raising questions. In the form of yes or no type questions, in the form of WH questions, in the form of what we call it as sometimes agreement or disagreement questions. So there are n number of ways of raising questions. So it's a very common device in conversation, students. Yes, just to seek the approval of somebody. Anomalous finites have the ability to form question tags. What are these anomalous finites? There are 24 anomalous finite verbs, students, like we call them as 24 verbs. In other words, I call them as helping verbs. So you can see here now: is, am, are, was, were, has, have, had, do, does, did, can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must, ought to, need, dare, used to. In the question tags, we use only these verbs. There is no other verb we can think of. So that's what I said. There are 24 anomalous finite verbs, students, like. So straight away we will jump to the topic. We'll try to cover up as many questions as possible, like. So let me just go with the number 1, like. To a positive statement, to negative tag is added, students. Okay, right. For example, he is a teacher, isn't he? Okay, right. So first of all, let me just take the same question here now. He is a teacher, comma, isn't she? First of all, let me just explain the concept of this sentence, students. This portion is called tag question, or this is also called statement. And this portion is called question tag. Okay, so this is tag question or statement, and that is question tag, students. How do you differentiate? Introducing a comma here now. A comma differentiates your tag question from question tag. Okay, that is one thing that we have to see, students. Very good. There are a lot of things that we need to keep in mind when you sort out these question tags, students. Number 1 point. Your question tag, you see here now with the question tag, students, like comma, there is question mark here now. The first thing is, see whether there is a comma or what we call it as a comma, introduced by comma and ended with the question mark. That is what we have to identify. Okay, that's one. Number 2, students. What is number 2 now? This is contract form, not full form. Full form will be like this now. Is not she. In the question tags, you cannot think of full forms. In the question tags, you cannot think of full forms. If you find it, you erase that option, please. This is the wrong one. So we have only contract form. So what is that contract form, students, like? So the word not, strike off O, then introduced by apostrophe T, that is a short form, students. So that is called contract form or abbreviated form. So question tags are always written in an abbreviated or contracted form. That is what we have to see now. Very nice. So I'm just writing here, second one is contract form. Contract form. Okay, right, very good now, contract form. Let us go with number 3. Number 3, students, now. Just let us try to understand number 3 now. The subject, whatever you have here, subject, students, like, and the same subject has to be repeated here also. For example, like, okay, he is a teacher, isn't she? Do you think that is wrong? No, that is, he is a teacher, isn't she? How can you say that? That is wrong, students. Okay, very good now. So what you should say now? He is a teacher, isn't he? Only we have to say, not she. So the subject of the tag question should be repeated in the question tag. So what we have to find out now, the subject of the question tag should be the same what now? Same gender now, which means if it is masculine, it will be masculine. And same number. So what do you understand by same number now? If it is singular, your question tag also will be singular. The subject of the question tag should be singular. Same gender, same number, and same person also has to be taken into account. So what do you mean by same person now? Here it is a third person singular. Here also you have third person singular. Are you able to understand, students? The subject of the question tag should be of the same gender of the tag question, same gender, same number, number means a singular plural, and same person. Keep this one in mind, students, like so. Again, I'm repeating, comma, question tag, and we have to write in the contracted form, and the subject of this one should be the same gender, same number, and same person, students, like right. Number 4. So what could be the number 4, students, like now? The tense has to be retained same. The tense cannot be changed. The tense has to be retained same, students. Okay, are you able to understand now? So tense, you cannot think of changing the tense here now. So here you find a simple present tense is, and definitely it should be what we call it as like, something is written wrong there, students, like now. Okay, isn't. Wonderful. Like, so what is now? So something I have written wrong now. So you are supposed to correct it now. So he is a teacher, isn't he, students, like now. Now you may ask me, sir, this one should be capital letter or small letter, students, like now. Yes. So this one should be small letter itself. Until and unless if it is what we call it, no, it is only small letter now because it is yes. Because this is a verb, small letter there now. So The tense remains unchanged. The tense remains unchanged. So if you find here present tense, definitely you will find what we call it as present tense now. These are the credentials that you should keep in mind when you sort out what we call it as the question tags, students. And the final fifth rule is the subject of the question tag should be always the subject of the question tag. The subject of the question tag should be always personal pronoun. Supposing I say Ravi is a boy, you cannot say isn't Ravi, we cannot say, please. No. You cannot think of using proper nouns in the question tags. Only personal pronoun, students. You have to use either, what are all personal pronouns also? I'll talk about more those one, students, now, right? So if you can look into, okay, let me just write it here, it's now personal pronouns, I, we, you, he, she, it, they. So only personal pronoun you can think of, otherwise you cannot think of anything now, right, students? Now, so keeping in mind what are you are going to activate in this place? What are you are going to activate in this place, students, now? Personal pronouns like. And the verb should be what? And the verb should be very specifically, I have mentioned, students, now. And the verb should be all these ones now. Now you see from here, is, am, are, was, were, has, have, had, do, does, did, can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, all 24 you will find here now. That's all. So this is the ones you will find here now. There is no other verb. You cannot think of any other verb, students. So what did you learn here now? Just before going to the questions now, come on, let me just see that. So first of all, your tag question and question tag has to be introduced by comma and question mark. Number 1 point. Number 2, it should be contracted form. It cannot be any other form. Number 3, the subject of the question tag should be of the same gender, same number, and same person. And the 4th one, the tense remains unchanged. And the subject of the question tag should be always personal pronouns. What are personal pronouns? I have given the list here now. I, we, you, he, she, it, they. Okay, right, students, like now, right. Now, in addition to these ones, so there are other norms that we need to follow, right. If the question tag is positive, if the tag question is positive, if your statement is positive, your question tag is going to be negative, students. Why it is going to be negative now? Definitely when I say he is a teacher, I know he is a teacher, that's all. I know he is a teacher. I have to contradict you so that you will give me the desired result now. So definitely you will say, he is a teacher, isn't he? I already know that he is a teacher, and what is the response that I will get from here now? Okay, that also I am going to talk about now. First let me see now, isn't he? You can speak English, now you can speak now, this is positive, and definitely your question tag is going to be negative, students, now, negative now. Now, so sometimes examiners ask in a different style. He is a teacher, isn't he? So far you have learned it now. But what is the answer that you give now? He is a teacher, I know. Isn't he? I am contradicting you. And the result that the desired answer that you are going to give me is positive. Your answer also will be positive. He is a teacher, isn't he? Yes, he is, will be your answer. Sometimes they seek answer also. Now, you can speak English, can't you? Yes. So supposing like for example, like you can speak English, can't you? Yes. So answer is negative. So positive, negative, your answer also should be, for example, like now, yes, yes, you can, you can. So the same thing has to be repeated, students, now. So therefore, sometimes they seek, be careful, sometimes they seek what we call it as the answer. Now, is the teacher, isn't he? Yes, he is. You can speak English, can't you? Yes, you can. So therefore, that is how we develop the question tags now. So here we go with a few more students. What did you understand here now? To a positive statement, a negative tag is added. That's all, negative tag. Shall we go with the next one now? Yes. To a negative statement, a positive tag is added now. He mustn't go negative, and it will be positive. He mustn't go, must he? Yes, he. What we call it as students like now. So negative will be now, answer will be negative now. No, no, he, the answer it was must, no, he needn't. You will get the answer in this manner, like must and need little bit shuffled, students. Yes, he mustn't go, must he? No, he needn't. No, he needn't. Yes, he is not an engineer, negative. To a negative statement, be careful, positive tag now. Is not an engineer, is he? No, he isn't, will be your answer, students. Okay, right. So you have learned now positive, negative, negative, positive. Wonderful. Shall we go with the number 3 now? If the statement contains an anomalous finite verb. Now, what is anomalous like? These are all helping verbs. For your convenience sake, I am writing here now helping verbs. These are all helping verbs, students. Okay, right. Very good. So if the statement contains an anomalous finite, it is to be repeated in the tag. By default, it has to be repeated. Like for example, you see now, they are ready now. What do you find here now? Are. Are has to be repeated. It has to be repeated. The tense remains unchanged, I said now. So they are ready, aren't they? Because it is positive. Your statement is positive. Question tag will be negative now. He is not here. It is repeating now. Getting repeated. See, repeated. Repeated. Repeat. Repeat the same, what we call it as anomalous or helping verb. If there is helping verb, it has to be repeated. It has to be repeated, students. Now, is not here. What we call it as is he. Okay, right, wonderful now. So, can we go with the number 4 now? So, first one you understood, second one and third one also you got it now, fourth one now. If the statement does not contain an anomalous finite, what you will do now? Supposing if you don't find these 24 anomalous finites, if you don't find, what are you going to do now? You are going to borrow these 3 verbs, students, like now. If the statement is the main verb now, in other words, like if the statement does not contain an anomalous finite, do, does, did is used in the question tag, or do, does, did is borrowed. In other words now. Come on, let us just see now. He speaks Hindi. Did you find any helping verb there? Suddenly then you should understand helping verb, if you find it is repeated. If you don't find helping verb and if you find speaks is the main verb here now. What is the verb now? That is the main verb, students. When there is a main verb now, what happens? Like you have to borrow do, does, did you have to borrow. Tense is simple present tense. So this is simple present tense. Definitely, what are the possibilities that we can think of now? Do, does both are present tense and did is past tense. So we have to choose either do or does. Since speaks is a singular third person now, so again I just write here now for your convenience sake, students now. Do is activated with I person, I do, we do, you do and they do, and generally this is termed as a plural verb, whereas does is activated with persons like he, she, it, students. Yes, so do, does, he, she, it. Did, so this is singular. This is what now? Singular. Did is activated with all the persons like I, we did, you did, he, she, it, they, okay, they. And this is what we call it as, students, now singular. At the same time it is plural. I did, he did, you did, they did. Okay, fine, very good. Now let us see now. He speaks, that is simple present tense now. He is in the place of what now? So he means we have to choose does. He means what we have to choose, students, now? Does we have to choose now. Therefore, you see that he speaks in the, that is in the positive. So your statement is in the positive, students, now. Definitely this will be now doesn't he. Be careful. If there is no helping verb, borrow, do, does, did, and the tense remains unchanged. He left yesterday. Leave, left. The sentence is positive, no doubt. It is positive. But left is what now? Past tense. Simple past. Simple past. Definitely. Now what are we to activate now? Did we have to activate now? So didn't he. So definitely the same person, the same number, and the same what we call it as, students, like now, right? Gender now. He, masculine gender, there is no feminine gender there now. He left yesterday, didn't he? They always work hard. Work hard is the main verb, students, now. This is the main verb now, and the sentence is positive now. They always work hard. This is simple present. This is present now. So then they means what did you write here now? With they, we have to use do. Now you see now, don't they. So they always work hard, don't they? If you have understood these four, question tags are going to be, it's a, what we call it as a piece of cake, or it's a cakewalk we call it as. Again, I just come back, students, now. So to a positive statement, a negative tag is added, okay? Then to a negative statement, positive tag is added. Then again, if there is an anomalous, that has to be repeated. But what in case if there is no anomalous and if you find main verbs? Suppose to borrow, do, does, did. If you have understood these basics, we will go ahead with some miscellaneous, students, like. So notes on the question tag, few more areas we are going to touch it. There can be no question tag without an anomalous finite. I already told you. Only the contracted form of the anomalous finite with not is used when the tag is negative. Not is written NT and joined to the anomalous finite. Anomalous means strange. Anomalous means something atypical. Anomalous means why they are typical? Because these all helping verbs are typical verbs. Let us see the short forms I have given now for your convenience sake. Is not is written in the contract form isn't, are not, aren't, was not, won't, have not, haven't, must not, mustn't, do not, don't. The apostrophe should be put in the place of the omitted letter O. Notice the following irregular contracts. Cannot will become can't, shall not will become shan't, will not will become won't. Right? I suppose get all those one, students, now, right? If you have understood these one, then let me go little further explaining question tags now. The subject of the question tag must be a personal pronoun, which I have already explained, he, she, it, they, or I, or we, or you, whatever it is now, which I have already explained, or be careful about the word there. Yes, I, we, you, he, she, it, and if the statement begins with there, question tag, that is the only exception we have is there. There is a snake in the garden. Now, for example, okay, here there is already, now let me just see that. Okay. So, when the sentence begins with there, now, dinner is ready. Isn't dinner? Can I say like that? Isn't dinner? Can I say? No, you cannot say that. Why I told you? Only personal pronouns only we have to use now. So, dinner place we have to use the word it. So, dinner is ready. Isn't it? We call it as now, right? Peter is clever. Can I say? Isn't Peter? No, I said no, you cannot think of activating proper nouns. I said now only personal pronouns only. He, she, it, I, we, you, they, or the other expression is there, T-H-E-R-E now. We have one example, come on, let us see, be careful. Most of the examiners are trying to test this question now. There are two dogs in the garden. Now, you begin with the word there, T-H-E-R-E. T-H-E-R-E, be reminded please this one now. There are two dogs in the garden. R has to be repeated, definitely now. Aren't there. There's only one exception where there is no personal pronoun. Are you able to get me, students? Yes, there are two dogs in the garden. Aren't there. Well, students, like this is Dr. Jayaraj. I'm imparting to you SSC CGL, the most important topics, how simply you can crack these questions in the coming examination. So students, like I just request everybody to subscribe our ACE online series, the online tests or online courses, so that you can easily benefit and you can master the shortcuts. Okay, right, here we go. In addition to these one, students, like there are some more. Before going to that one, I have something to sometimes, there are some facts or there are some truths. In such a situations, what are you going to do, students, like? So if there are some facts, if there are some truths, further going. For example, I say, snow is white. Snow is white. Isn't it? What should be your response or answer? Snow is white. Isn't it? Yes. It is. It's a fact. Yes, it is. Supposing I make a statement like this. Snow isn't white. Definitely question tag, you know, very easy. Is it? What should be your answer? Snow is white. Isn't it? Yes, it is. Snow isn't white. Is it? Answer? No, it isn't. Quite many of you give me that answer. No, it isn't. No. No, it isn't. Negative? Negative. Oh, very good. No, it isn't. Who said snow is not white? Is snow of another color? Other color? Response again, the fact is, yes, it is. Snow isn't white, is it? Yes, it is. Here it is changing, students. But earlier, positive, positive, negative, your answer will be negative. But here it is a fact. Okay. Supposing I say snow. Snow is black. Definitely you will give me, isn't it? Snow is black, isn't it? What should be your response? Yes, it is. Which means snow is black. Snow is black, isn't it? No, it isn't. Snow is black, isn't it? No, it is. Can we say like that? No, it is. Can you say like that? No. No, it is. It is means it is black. Snow is black, isn't it? No, it isn't. No, the fact is no, it isn't black. Snow isn't black. Is it? What should be your answer? Yes, it is. Which means the fact is black. The same answer you'll get now. No, it isn't black. The fact is it isn't black. The truth is that sometimes you need to be very careful, students. So sometimes truths, facts have to be seen as a fact. Truth has to be seen as truth itself now. So anyway, in addition to the highlighting other question tags, have just introduced them. So personal pronouns and one of the words is there. Here we go now. Now we are coming to for imperative sentences. In my teaching, direct and indirect speech I have taught imperatives. Active and passive voice I have taught imperatives. So what did you understand by imperative, students, now? Generally they are request, or they are sometimes they express order. Okay, right. Here for imperatives, will you is added. Be careful about that. That's all. Will you is added. Don't think of anything else. Shall we for let's. Why? Let us. Shall we. Okay now? Because with first persons we always use. You remember that rule, right? The word shall is activated with I person and we person, and will is activated with the you person, he, she, it, and what we call it as they, students now. Generally we say I shall, we shall. Interchange can take place if you go to the modals, but the meaning changes. Shall we for let's, which means let us, is added now. Stop that noise. Generally imperatives are always begin with verb. They always begin with the verb itself. There is no subject there. Stop that noise. Will you? Now you will ask me, sir, why not won't, why not something else? Had you learned the modal verbs? One of the rules of will is expressing politeness. So stop that noise, will you? Actually, if at all, if you want to make that question, how will you make it now? Will you stop? Will you stop that noise? Please. This is exactly the question actually. So please is there. It is understood there. Stop that noise, please. Which means will you stop that noise? Let us go home. Shall we? Shall we go home? Let us read aloud. Shall we? Shall we read aloud? Let me have a look at it. Let me have a look at it. Will you? Will you allow me to have a look at it? Don't be angry with me. Will you? Come in, please. Will you? Be watchful. Will you? Come in, please. Will you come in, please? So it is understood as a kind of a request to students like will you. We'll go further now. Imperatives. What are imperatives now? Request and all are made into more polite requests by adding will you. Yes, if you add will you, it is more polite way of addressing. The use of please in case if you use also softens a command to a request. Please do it for me. Will you please do it for me? That is the meaning of this one now. If an imperative expresses any command, the question tag is can't. Sir, why here now? Go through modal verbs. List of can. If you can find in my books, you might find in PDFs. Can has at least 12 meanings. The last meaning of can is which expresses anger. Can't you shut up and get out from his side? Expressing anger. So therefore, command, the question tag is can't you. Example, shut up. Can't you? Sir, how? Can't you shut up and go out from my side? Can't you get lost? Get lost. So something like command, or if you sense it is a command, then you have to understand that one is can't, students. Like in imperative sentences, generally, you is absent, which means we understand that you is there. Will you please do it for me? For example, you see now, stop that noise. You stop that noise, but you is not there. It is understood. Sit down. You sit down, which means you is not expressed. Very nice. We'll go with the next word, students, now. Next number now. Let us look at these words. Hardly, scarcely, seldom, rarely, barely, neither, nor, all are negative words. Make the equivalents of a negative statement, please. And hence the question tag should be positive. The word has a negative meaning, hardly. Maybe in my next class I'll talk about the word hardly. I'll talk about the word scarcely. So students here now write. So these words have a negative meaning. Definitely the question tag should be what now? Positive, students. He is hardly a genius. Negative. It will be repeated. Definitely it will be positive now. He is a hardly genius. Is he? Same gender, same number, same person. You cannot change that. He scarcely speaks to you. Now speaks is the main verb here now. Main verb means we have to borrow. Speaks is present tense. So present tense now, students, now present. So definitely it should be, why scarcely is negative. This will be positive. Barking dogs seldom bite. Seldom is negative. Bite is the main verb now. Okay. So seldom bite is the present tense now. Dogs is plural. Verb also will be plural. And pronoun is they. Barking dogs seldom bite. Are you able to understand, students, now? Take care of these ones. Quasi-negatives or semi-negatives like hardly, barely, all other words also like hardly, barely, little. A little is positive. Little. A little is positive. Don't take it as students. A little is positive. Few is negative, negative. But if you say a few is positive. Etc. are negative in meaning but not in appearance. They are mild forms of not. Shall I go with the continue, students, now? Yes. So again, it's a kind of a request. This is Dr. Jayaraj. Kindly request you to subscribe ACE Online so that you will see the difference in your life. Here we go. Fifth one. Yes, I am usually has the tag aren't I. There are no expressions like ain't, amn't. These are all archaic language, old usage of language. So I am usually has the tag aren't I. I am late. Aren't I, we should say. Anyway, it is positive. Aren't is plural now. This changes, you have to note, students. So I am late, aren't I? I am right, aren't I? Don't say ain't I, amn't I. We don't have such kind of expressions. Always relay. Come on, look at these words now. Very good now. There's one expression, students, now used to has a question tag with used or did. Be careful about this one now. What has to be? It has to be repeated because that is used to is, it's a helping verb I said now. You used to live in Hyderabad, used to. So it is positive now, it will be negative. Usn't you, or we can also activate the word didn't you. Okay, fine. He never used to smoke so much. Never is negative, students, like definitely it will be positive now. And again, like you never used to smoke so much. Used he or did he? Take care of other miscellaneous. Shall we go with the next one now? Yes. Statement containing sometimes everyone, no one, everybody, nobody, etc. as a subject have plural tags. Let me see. Everybody is surprised. First you learn this one now. Everybody is always a singular only, students, like now, right? It is singular itself. It cannot be plural now. Definitely your verb also will be singular. Subject verb agreement. Everybody is surprised. but the question tag will be plural. That is what again miscellaneous you have to learn, students. Now everybody is surprised. Now I cannot say aren't everybody. What did I say? Only pronoun will be there now. So they will be plural, and definitely is will become now plural now. Everybody is surprised, aren't they? Decorum of the sentence we didn't change. The tense is remaining same there. Present tense and present tense only, like but everybody, and again like nobody, everyone, all these singular ones. Question tag is plural, students. Now nobody likes it. Now negative, definitely it will be positive, and plural, take care of the plural now. Everyone agreed now, so this is positive, and didn't, because agreed is in the past tense now, this is past. So therefore again didn't they, plural now. No one was hurt. Was is in the past, so definitely were plural, and they, only pronoun will be there. Take care of these statements, right? Shall we go further? Yes, students. Now demonstrative pronouns. This, that, those. Yes. This, that, these, those cannot be repeated in the question tag. You cannot repeat them. This is a pen. Isn't this? Many people say like that. This is a pen. This is a pen. Isn't this? But what did I teach you there? Only pronoun I said now. Only pronoun. Then how can you use this demonstrative here now? So therefore let us be very careful about these ones. Yes. So instead of a pronoun of the demonstrative pronouns, this, that, these, those cannot be repeated in the question tag. Instead, a pronoun of the third person, it or they, has to be activated. Okay, here we go. This is a nice pen. Is will be repeated now. Positive, negative. This will become now it. That is a nice book. Positive, negative, right? It. These are good boys. Positive, negative. These means a plural. This means a singular. That is a singular. Those is a plural. So definitely this one will be plural. Those are not yours, negative. It will be positive. Are they? So demonstratives don't repeat demonstratives in the question tags. Instead of that one, we are supposed to activate personal pronoun. Pronoun has to be activated, students. Okay, right, very good now. When you are asked to add a question tag, rewrite the statement, put a comma, and then add the tag. Don't forget to put a question mark at the end of the, I have already taught you this one. We'll go with the next one now. This is very, very important. Usage of have, has, had. These three act as two kinds of verbs. What are these two kinds of verbs, students? Like main verbs. Main verb has V1, V2, V3. For example, if I take it as have, had, okay, right. Has, had. This I call it as the main verb now. Helping verbs, students, they have only two forms. Helping verbs don't have V3 now. So only V1 now. Have, had only we take it as. Has, had. Some verbs do the work of main verbs. At the same time, some verbs also do the work of helping verbs. But main verbs functions are different. Helping verbs functions are different. Am I right? Yes. Main verbs don't take negatives like main verbs. So cannot make questions like, can I say, for example, if I say, I take this pen. I take not this pen. Can I say? No, you cannot say that. Can you make a question? Take you this pen? You make questions, I know. With main verbs also you make. But you cannot make questions like, questions have to be made only with the 24 anomalous finite verbs, students. Now here we go now. Come on, let us say. Main verb and special verb. Special verb means a helping verb. Be careful here now. Right. He has a car. What is helping verb? With helping verb, we will be using another verb. helping verb plus main verb now. I do not go. Now do is helping verb now. Am I right, students? Now there has to be one other verb now. Did you find any other verb with this one now? There is no other verb there, which means this is doing the work of the main verb now. When main verb is there, what did I say? We have to borrow do, does, did. This is present tense. Doesn't he is the right expression. But 99% of the students will write it as he has a car, hasn't he? No. Next one you see. He has purchased a car. Now you see, purchased is the main verb now. Has is what we call it as the helping verb now. What was the rule now? Helping verb has to be repeated now. Helping verb is repeated here. Are you able to understand what I am trying to teach you? Helping verb has to be repeated. Hasn't he? Shall we take one more example? He had a lot of property. Had is only one word there. There is no main verb there. Automatically this one will become now main verb now. If it is main verb, we have to borrow do, does, did now. Had is past. Definitely I'll borrow did now. Positive, it will become negative. He had a lot of property earlier. Didn't he? Again you see the next sentence. He had purchased a lot of property. Purchased is the main verb now. Had is becoming helping verb. Helping verb has to be repeated. That is the rule I said. Helping verb has to be repeated. Hadn't he, students now. So did you understand now? Especially the verb have, has, had. Be careful. They do the work of main verb. At the same time, they do the function of helping verb also. Right, very good. And the last one, students, like we are coming to the closure of these ones, like same way question tags. What do you mean by same way question tags now? Positive, positive, negative, negative, but when this one will be, students, like now. We use the same way question tags to express sometimes interest, surprise, anger, etc., which do not to make real questions. They are not real questions. Right, students, now? But they seem to be questions like, so, you are buying a new car. So, surprise. I'm not going to take this one, but I'll take it as surprise. So, you are buying a new car. Are you positive? Positive? Positive. So, you don't like my looks, don't you? Negative? Negative, students. So, you don't like my looks. So sometimes surprise. Okay, right. I'll give you a few questions. Let me see whether you can sort it out. And with that, you see, that is our end of the session, students. Now, okay, right. We will take it up. Few questions, students. Now, very quickly. For example, let me just see. Oh, I am lazy. What will you give me now? Oh, I am lazy. So which means this is surprise. Positive, positive. Am I is the right answer. Am I is the right answer. Right, students? I'll take one more now. God is great. Positive. Isn't he? Some or other, I consider this one as wrong, students, because the scriptures always quote G as a capital, God as a capital. So keep it as, that's the only area where you can think of it, students, now. No doubt we have to use a pronoun, no doubt about that. But since it is caps, we have to use it as a capital letter. Scriptures always quote to God as, if it is small God, gods and goddesses, then small letter only. Take care of that one. Okay. Number 3, I'll just go with the number 3, students now. Okay, shall I go with the number 3 now? Clever. That's all. What should be clever? Examiner has just given the word clever. So, which means we have to understand. Supposing I can say, unto you, which means I understand you are clever. Unto you, it's right. Isn't it? This also will be right. It is clever, isn't it? Suppose they have given haven't it, which means like you have clever. What is you have clever, man? No. So sometimes it depends on the option, students. Number 4. Each student did his best. Be careful always, each student is singular and noun, and each will be adjective. So definitely this also will be singular, so therefore singular. But your question tag will be plural. Each student did his best. Did is positive. Didn't they, we have to use. Okay. Very good, students. Now number 5. Everything. Okay. Everything is costly. But the word everything will take always singular only, students, like. Isn't it? Sometimes be careful when there are 2 clauses. Yeah, that so far I have not done. But examiners are asking 2 clauses. Number 6, I think. Supposing if I say what we call it as like now. I think you are a good boy. Just, I think you are a good boy. Now you see, students, now there are 2 sentences here. That is the confusion that is creating, like I think. Then this is the main verb. So think I. So don't I. Very good now. You are a good boy. Are. Now which one you are supposed to take now? The main sentence you are supposed to take. I think is not the main sentence. You are a good boy. Aren't you? So sometimes when there are 2 sentences, think which is the important one, like. So which has more credibility? I think is not the main sentence. You are a good boy is the main sentence, students, like. Wonderful, students. Now I suppose you might have grasped today the question tag chapter, and any sort of a question that appears in the what I call it as your SSC CGL or banking or any other examination. I strongly believe with an influencing faith that you are going to cut a very good figure in this chapter, students, like. Yeah, this is Dr. Jayaraj. I request you to subscribe SSC CGL online courses so that you can really cut a very good figure in the examination, and you can cut really good percentage of marks. I think this is sufficient for you to work out with the question tag, students, like. You cannot think of missing any more marks. And if you have any queries, please bring to my notice. Definitely I'll try to sort it out. God bless you.